this way. I think I've got it right. I think I am live and a horizontal format. So I'm just going to start. I don't know if this is the scheduled one, because every time I enter the one that I had scheduled, it comes up as a vertical format, and I don't know how to change it. It's so frustrating. YouTube, help me. But I think let's just dive in. Hopefully some of you see that I'm live and join me and haven't clicked on the other link. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I do need to get a little bit more internet and IT and YouTube savvy, but I'm not. So let's march forward ahead. Hi, Jessica. So I am going to answer your question first, Jessica, and I'm just going to read it off of my computer screen about, can you please do, so my computer screen is behind me. Can you please do a video on how to bulk and cut in a healthy way? So I was sitting with this question today at the gym while I was working out and training. And I thought that the best way to simplify it in my mind is to think of bulking and cutting as gaining mass or tissue and then reducing your mass or tissue. And you can gain fat or muscle. There's only two options. I mean, well, I suppose you could gain bone as well through resistance training. But you're thinking about bulking, you are trying to grow tissue. And hopefully what we want to grow is muscle tissue, not fat tissue. We all know how easy it is to grow fat tissue. So when you are bulking, you don't want to overeat. I would say personally, as a female, you just want to increase your calories ever so slightly, like, sorry, there's a frog in my throat. So increase your calories by 200 calories. If your maintenance, we'll just use easy examples. If your maintenance is 1,500 calories, what I would do is increase, but now you are in the bulking phase, meaning you are training properly. You would increase your calories by 200, and you want to increase your calories with lean protein and clean carbs and fiber, not with fats. The reason is because fats are the most easily stored as fat in your body. Protein is what your muscles use to repair and rebuild. Well, it's the amino acids. They break the protein down. And your muscles also need carbohydrates. I've heard it said by Lane Norton that carbohydrates are muscle sparing. So if you are cutting, now this is for if you're cutting, you still want to have enough carbs so that you are preserving your muscle mass. And this is why keto isn't great for bodybuilding or the sport of being a bikini athlete. You do get some keto bodybuilders, but very, very, very few and far between. And I've not met any in person. The one competition I tried to do when I was keto, it was when I looked my worst personally. I looked flabby. I didn't look full. It wasn't a good look. So if you want your body to have that firm, toned, muscular look, and you don't have to bulk up hugely, you want to focus on clean, high protein sources, chicken breast, all the usual, fillet steak, game, venison, ostrich steak, eggs, egg whites, tuna, all the lean fish. Salmon is okay, but it is fatty. Just remember that there is quite a bit of fat with salmon. So clean cuts of meat, high quality protein, and then you want clean carbohydrate sources so that you're not unconsciously getting fat into your meal. And then you control the fat. So you want 50 grams of fat on average daily for a woman. Now, if you're bulking, you'll just increase your protein and your carbs a little bit by 200 calories a day. If you are cutting, now you want to reduce your tissue, but obviously cutting, you want to reduce fat. So again, what does this mean? We don't want to overeat on fats. Even though keto is a thing, and my mother lost a lot of weight on keto, she had no interest in fitness and she had no desire to preserve muscle mass. It wasn't even a thought process for her. She just wanted to lose weight. So keto, because it blunts your appetite, you feel fuller. You don't actually even think about food as much as when you're eating carbs and proteins. So when you're cutting on what I call the gym diet, you will obviously reduce your total caloric amount, but your diet pretty much stays the same. So cutting and bulking is the same thing in terms of diet. You are just increasing your calories or reducing them. So if you are increasing your calories, have a little bit of extra meat and a little bit of extra rice or a little bit of extra vegetables or that kind of thing. And it's really not a lot. 200 calories is not a lot. Remember, we are not men. So the men can have bigger bulks but then they also do these dramatic cuts. So for us, I would do a cut and a bulk within a small window. And now if from maintenance you want to cut, again, personally, this is just me, I would only reduce by 200 calories so that you're not starving and feeling deprived, and then you can't get through your workouts and you can't get through the day. If all you want to do is just lose weight and you don't care how, then keto could work, or cutting your calories fairly low can work. It's just not a long-term solution, in my humble opinion. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope it helps clarify what cutting and bulking is. When you are bulking and you want to build muscle, what you must do in that period of time is stimulate your muscles. Muscles grow when they are stimulated through training. So stimulation doesn't mean going for a walk, because that we do every day. It means actual stimulation through resistance training, heavy weight training. So the resistance of your weight, of gravity, of your body weight, of picking up weights is now pushing against your muscle, and your muscle has to go, and then it gets the signal like, I cannot stay small and weak. I need to grow in response to this stimulus. So weight training is the stimulus your muscle needs. So even if you ate all the right way, the protein, the carbs, and you were in a caloric surplus, if you don't train, your muscles are not going to grow. So it's the same with people who take steroids. If they don't train, they will not grow, even if they are taking steroids. Not that I'm saying anyone must take steroids. Please don't do it. But I've seen guys, people do it, and then they think they can just sit back and wait for their muscles to grow. It doesn't work that way. That's why bodybuilders train so hard, even if they are on something. You need that stimulus. Now, for us ladies, we are not going to, it's so difficult to bulk. It's not an easy journey. And if you want to, for us ladies, our muscle growth, if we are lucky, is going to be like a little mill at a time. It's going to be so little, because remember, the muscles are just little fibers. And like everything, as we age, in fact, they're breaking down and getting smaller and weaker. So as we age, I would say we should aim all the time to be thinking about growing our muscle, even if we are not actually going to grow them. You don't need to step on stage, be a bodybuilder, but think about it, because think about, what do my muscles need? Because healthy muscles gives us that beautiful look, and it's also good for our digestion, our blood circulation, prevents diabetes. Our muscles are storage space for glycogen as well, which means you can have carbs straight after workout, or during the day as well. Obviously not high sugar. Sugar itself is just, for somebody like me who is hypoglycemic, I feel the effects of like pure sugar. So anything like just a normal Coca-Cola, a normal cool drink with sugar, those coffee freezers that I love so much, but they have a lot of sugar, and I will often get that sugar crash. With weight training, you can eat oats, quinoa, brown rice, bread, all the normal carbs, potatoes, sweet potatoes, pumpkin, and it's perfectly fine. Your muscles just take in the glycogen and are very happy. They're very happy. And of course, here's another reason to eat healthy carbs, is that your brain runs on glucose. So when I was doing keto, I did feel that tiredness, the lethargy, the brain fog. But I'm not saying keto can't work. It can. My mother did it successfully. In fact, I should show you guys in another video. I'll show you a photograph of my mother. So I hope that has helped answer the question of bulking and cutting. I'm just checking if there's any other comments. So now I've got the format going horizontal. I don't know if I see comments coming up. I did see your one there. And now let me answer the other question that I got in. So somebody else had asked me, about, hi Louise, I would like to get your thoughts on something I've been wondering. It is about fear of success. Let me move my thing here. I'm close to my goal weight, but every time I find myself sabotaging and I go back a bit, but never too far. I'm at a healthy weight for my height already. However, healthy weight is a range. Yes, it is. That's absolutely true. And I look and feel my best at the lower end. But like I mentioned, I seem to be a bit afraid of reaching my final goal. Have you ever felt like this? Like, I know I really want it, but I think I suffer from a fear of being seen. If you have any thoughts on this matter, I would be really grateful. Thank you. This one's a very deep and interesting question. I don't have that fear per se, because obviously I got up on stage in a bikini. It was easier back then for me to lose weight. It is harder. The older you are, the harder it is. The less important it is to me as well. So I think when I was younger, my why, and I think you need a why, my why was very strong. All I wanted was, I just want to get into the best shape of my life after I had my kid. And my husband, my ex-husband, you guys have heard the story, shot and killed. Anyway, so that one, the only one, he really liked thin, pretty little girls. So it wasn't difficult for me to stick to losing weight and staying at my goal weight, because I was so wrapped up in just being what he wanted that it was really easy for me because I knew he would approve, you know, which it's not a good reason to lose weight, but it helped. It helped. Now, I don't feel compelled to be that lean like I was once before. And so I actually am not on the lower end of my healthy weight range. I'm healthy. I'm 52 kilograms right now, but I know I could firm up and lose a little bit, like a tiny bit, but it's not a big deal for me. But I think if you've never gotten to your absolute ultimate ideal weight, it is worth achieving. But I do understand that there is this fear, like, oh, what happens when I get there? And then we get nervous. I think we think something magical will happen when we lose that last sort of 2-3 kilograms, however much it is for you. I don't know. You didn't actually say the weight range, and this question, by the way, comes from Shiley ZXU8. So Shiley, I think just tell yourself you can get there, but again, is your why strong enough? And when you get there, what are you worried? What are you afraid is going to happen if you hit your goal weight? I don't even know how old you are. You should have maybe put your age, because if you are young, maybe you're afraid of jealousy from other women. Maybe you're afraid of a whole lot of attention from men that could be the wrong attention. Maybe you are afraid of stepping into your own power. Sorry, Jessica, that comment came and then, oh, here it is. Okay, I'll get back to that comment now. So with the fear of being seen, it's a real fear. And maybe here's a thought: you could journal your fear as well. Just really think, what am I afraid of? And also, why do you think your weight now isn't good enough? Because it sounds like your weight is healthy. It sounds like you are happy. And maybe where you are right now is a good weight for you, and embrace that. Maybe every time you hit nearer to your lighter end of your weight, you actually become too hungry. That's a very real thing. I get that for sure. When I'm dieting for a competition, of course there's hunger, and you have to deal with those waves, because now you just can't eat whatever you want, whenever you want, as you feel like it. You just cannot indulge in everything. So you have to learn to, not starvation, not under eating, but there are waves of hunger that come because you are used to eating a little bit more. And now if you want to get down to your ultimate lightweight, but I just hope you've worked it out properly for your height and age and activity level. When you're at your ultimate weight that you think you will feel your best, life is good. Let me tell you, when I got to where I thought, wow, this is my leanest, my meanest, I felt good. I felt it was really nice. I'm not going to lie, it was really, really nice. I felt like I could wear all the clothes, I could shop, and it was a nice feeling. And there wasn't this feeling of looking at my body and thinking, oh, why can't I get rid of that last little kg? Why is my belly still not flat the way I wanted? Why is my whatever? You know how we nitpick our bodies, and it's not cool to nitpick our bodies, but we do. So when I achieved that, it was nice to just know that I could, to know that my body could look a certain way, to know that I could be healthy. I never, ever, ever once have lost my period in my life, other than when I did marathon running. So when I was training for an ultra marathon. Crazy, I know, but my dad was an ultra marathon runner. And when I did 2 marathons back to back, I lost my period, so I just skipped 2 months. So, but I think that's just the stress. I didn't even get to my lightest, leanest weight marathon running because I was obviously replenishing and eating. I think it was just the stress and the pounding on my body. So you can get to a nice, lean, toned look, still keep your period, still be healthy, but it's individual. It is different from person to person because we all have different biology and a different set of parents and genes that we've inherited. Okay, let me get back to your question, Jessica, if I can find it now. There. When bulking and cutting, to stop letting weight from getting out of control, how many kilograms or pounds would you bulk up to max before cutting back down to preferred weight? That's a good question. I haven't ever done it like in that way myself. I've never really gone onto a full-on bulking cycle where I've thought, okay, now look, I kind of have. When I'm bulking, what I do personally, it's just when I'm not aiming for a competition, and I mean, right now I'm not I have a competition lined up, but with all the shit going on in my personal life right now, I don't know what's happening there. But when I'm bulking, what I do personally is I eat to satiety. I don't let myself go hungry, and I also just enjoy food. I don't overeat either. And I train as hard as I can. And for me, I have a weight limit that if I go over this amount, whether it's fat or muscle, whatever it is, I know I pull back. So for me, I know my lightest weight that I've ever hit was 49 kilograms. I think that's too low. I don't think I should ever hit there again. For competition, if I were to step on stage now, I would be somewhere between 50 to 51 probably, unless I've built a bit of muscle, and I have. So probably somewhere in that range. And then if I am bulking, or if I'm just saying whatever happens, happens, and I'm training hard, my upper end on my weight should be like, for me, 55. So you can bulk and get as heavy as you want. I've seen some ladies balloon off season. They just eat and train and whatever. But then just remember, you've got to take it back off. So it's really, there's no rules. You can bulk as much as you want, but then you are the one that has to take it back off when you are going to cut. So the ideal, and when you're bulking, if you're doing like a proper athlete bulk, you will gain muscle and you will gain some fat. It's just inevitable. I would keep it to a couple of kilograms or a couple of pounds. For a woman, maybe 10 pounds is my guess. 12 pounds, depending on if you're a very tall woman and a big woman. So again, it's a range. You play with it, you decide. And also, if you are an athlete, I don't know if you want to compete, Jessica, but if you're an athlete, what you are going to do is then you will learn your body. And once you dive into this whole world, which is probably not the healthiest sport for someone's mental state, but if you dive into the world of competing, you learn how your body responds to different foods. You learn how it loses weight, how quickly it loses weight. So each athlete also is an individual. So when an athlete has a coach, if they have a good one, the coach will start to get to know that athlete's body and metabolism as well. And that coach will learn, okay, I can push this athlete to that point of fat gain because I know it'll take her 8 weeks, 12 weeks to lose it. You see what I'm saying? So it really is, again, like all things, I hate this answer, but it's the truth. It's individual. It's up to also you. It's also up to how much weight and fat can you tolerate carrying around before you feel too big. There is also an option of gaining muscle without gaining too much weight. So that would be eating at maintenance pretty much, and then training really hard. And generally you will build muscle, because if you train hard enough, even if you eat at maintenance, but your maintenance may go up, remember, because now you're pushing your training up. So your energy requirements have gone up. So you eat at maintenance, but your maintenance is a little bit higher, and then you build muscle, but without gaining too much fat. Look, obviously, every time you are building, you're not going to lose weight. So you mustn't even think about trying to look lean whilst bulking, which some people try. I mean, I pretty much always try that route first. If I want to gain muscle, I hate the thought of just getting fat. You know, it's not a nice thought or feeling for a female, because we are socialized to be thin at all costs. And I hate that mindset. I hate it. But it's something that I think is ingrained in so many of us. I wish women could embrace their strength and their power and embrace their body's ability to be strong. I really do wish that for most women. It's something that, I mean, I've gone through that whole journey where from in my 20s, just wanting to be thin, to then taking up weight training. And then as I would go through my weight training sort of seasons or whatever, gaining strength. And then you think like, wow, you know, I can lift that weight. I can push that weight. Like, look at me go. And what's incredible is when I was in a group with a whole lot of women, there are some tiny, tiny females, and they can push heavy, heavy weights. So just because you are wanting to be small, petite, thin, does not mean you cannot hit that gym and push those weights. You really can. Just obviously, you're not going to take testosterone. You're not going to take steroids. Well, and if you do, that's totally fine. That's totally your choice. But then that's when you are going to start looking very masculine. Personally, I like the look of an athletic female, but still female, still very feminine. So that's a look that I strive towards. I mean, right now, guys, my eating and my training is in the toilet, because not only, okay, I haven't shared this on this channel yet. Not only has my ex-husband passed away, and there's an estate to wrap up, and there's my son, and I'm taking him to a psychologist today, you know, to deal with everything. There's some trouble between me and my partner, which I don't want to talk about, but so my primary relationship now is under stress and strain. As you guys know, my dog had back surgery, so he still can't walk 100%, but he's hobbling along. We took on my ex-husband's dog. Well, it was my dog once upon a time. He's here. He's needing medication. He's got Cushing's disease. Can you believe it? So now I will learn more about Cushing's disease, which maybe I can help you guys with, because that is a disease where you pile on weight. So the dog Cushing's, the other one can't walk, and then they fought today. Anyway, so there's a lot of things going on in my life, a lot of admin, a lot of meeting with executives and blah, blah, blah. So my training has been very haphazard right now. But if I could impart one thing to you guys, if you have some form of a physical outlet, discipline, even in hard times, try and keep it going. Some weeks I've gone twice a week. Some weeks I've only gone 3 times for half an hour. It's not my usual routine, but it's still somewhere to go, to do the thing that makes me feel good, to give me that mental break from everything. And when you are either running or pushing weights, you get into your body and out of your head. So that's wonderful. But no, my routine is shit. I'm trying to eat healthy on some days, but I'm not really doing it every day. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't need to be perfect all the time, every day, unless you are, I don't know, 10 weeks out from a competition and you are an athlete getting on stage. That is when you want to try and hit every macro, and you know. So the things that I tell you guys to do, like I always say, 80-20 is probably good enough. One of you had commented and said 90-10 worked for you. You must find what works for you. And I agree. Sometimes if you go off track too far, you just fall right off. It's all about finding what works for you and working with the body that you have, not wishing for somebody else's body. I've been there. I have been there so many months, weeks, years. What a waste. I've sat there wishing for someone else's body. Why can't I look like her? Why don't I look like Jennifer Aniston? Why don't I have whatever celebrity's body at the time I thought was good? When you have, just look at your own body and say, okay, my body is like some women I see are naturally, they are very muscular naturally. So they look a lot bigger. And if they gain fat, they look bigger than other women who are not muscular. So they can carry some fat and they still look thin. Does that make sense? So some people naturally are bulky. I mean, there's some people you see who have big calves, big thighs, big shoulders, big biceps, big thick necks. You have to work with that. If that's you, embrace it, embrace it. Go for the athletic, muscular, strong look. It's a beautiful look. There are so many, well, there's a place for every body type and shape and human on this planet. There's a place for all of us. So don't hate on your body for what it is. It is your home here in planet Earth. Now I'm just getting woo-woo, but anyway. So I'm going to love and leave you guys so this was a bit of a shorter live because I have to go and fetch my son and I've got to go and get him some food and then take him to a psychologist, which I think will be very helpful. He has not seen her in 5 years. So we are in crisis mode right now in our personal capacity, in our personal lives. And I would say the same to any of you. Just let me end off with a final thought. If you are going through a crisis, a rough time, a difficult period, I'm not saying abandon your healthy eating because I think that is a foundation for a healthy life. Try and keep up your physical discipline, training, activity, walking, meditate, whatever it is, because you need to, like I always think, your body is your home for forever. You will never not be in this body. And if you're not here on planet Earth. It is your home. So in crisis, do your best, but also give yourself the grace. Like, I have been eating a lot of chocolate and I know it's not good for me to eat that much. I mean, a square here or there is fine, but there have been days when I have devoured like a whole slab. Okay, the slabs are smaller now, but an 80-gram slab in one sitting just because my emotions are raw and sore and I haven't been sleeping well either. So I know how sleep messes up with your diet, goals. It just makes me crave sugar, all the wrong things. So for now, what I'm telling myself is be kind to myself, be gentle with myself. If I ate the chocolate slab, oh, well, what can I do? It's done. Tomorrow's a new day. Anyway, I'm going to love and leave you guys. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a beautiful day. Bye. And how do I end this again? I have to remember that.